So my name is Lisa Thurau. I'm the Executive Director of Strategies for Youth. We are a national training and policy organization dedicated to improving police-youth interactions and reducing disproportionate minority contact. We're located in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and we work around the country with police and youth and the various institutions which serve them together. Well, I'm always grateful for an opportunity to see young people organizing and trying to forge a path with adults and sometimes against them to get what they need in the systems that serve them. I think education and certainly law enforcement and court systems are often slow to recognize that young people's needs are changing much faster than institutions can respond to them. So it's a pleasure to hear young people being part of the mix and expressing their ideas. And I always look forward to bringing some of the tools we've developed at Strategies for Youth to do some harm reduction, as well as to support information, education, help folks agitate for what they need and organize for it. So I was hoping to showcase our new guide for parents and families on school resource officers, what they should know if there's a school resource officer in their child's school. We do a lot of work with law enforcement agencies about trying to ensure that the policies they use are developmentally appropriate and trauma-informed and help and support young people to the best of their possibilities and ability, and to make arrest a last resort. And we're increasingly being asked to bring that into the school setting. So this was another opportunity to show how the approaches we use could be used in both institutions. And I was hoping also looking forward also to showcasing some of the things we have done to help young people understand the rules of schools through our Juvenile Justice Jeopardy game, which takes the school code of conduct and brings it alive through the Jeopardy game, where you test what you think you know about how the school is supposed to work. I think they most understand the complexity of systems. And systems in 2016 in the United States are incredibly legalized. They are very complex in that many people are invested in maintaining them, and that change is very hard. For every step forward, it's 3 steps back. When you have an easy success, it's usually not a real success. And even if you don't succeed in exactly the terms you want, by keeping the conversation going, by making clear what you're thinking, you've at least failed forward. You've changed the debate, you've reframed the issues in an important way. And having been an organizer since my mother tells me I stood on our station wagon when I was 4 and made a speech to the crowd. So I'm used to losing and I'm used to making speeches, but you have to keep trying, and you just don't know when what you say will be heard, which also makes it an exciting adventure. Well, I think a just society right now in the United States could come about if we weren't, as the writer James Lee Burke said, meretriciously innocent about the extent of inequality that's perpetrated by systems of education, law enforcement, and the judicial system. And all of those are undergirded by an economic and political system that really marginalizes a whole lot of us. There's very little between me and being marginalized, frankly, and I've got a whole bunch of degrees behind my name. So if we had a just system, we would have an economic and political system that valued people. We don't have that right now. That made employment accessible. We don't have that. And even when we have employment, we don't always have transportation. So we are so into competition, individualism, and privatization that the systems that have to help children growing up in those circumstances are undermined too. We are asking police and teachers and school administrators to do a whole lot more with children who are underserved, underhelped, underparented, and we're asking those frontline workers to do that with a lot less because we don't want to pay taxes and we don't want to support collective systems and social support systems. So we've really run ourselves into a corner in this country, it seems to me, and until we can agree that everybody's valuable, I don't see a way out anytime soon. In 2016, I think, and I'm saying this just a couple of days before the national election, I think this has been a year of airing wounds that has been so healthy for the country. So many of us who've been marginalized or oppressed or harmed, and you're thinking, oh, what's this white woman who's hyper-educated been oppressed by? Well, it's not always been easy to be a woman. It's hard for me in the law enforcement context to even be heard, and I often have to speak through men to even be heard. But we're saying the wrong people are at the table. Those who are at the table have gotten us in this fine mess. Other people need to be there, and the ones that have been sidelined actually may have some very good ideas and may be able to make things better. And all that's really hopeful. It's undeniable now that the economic differences in this country are really harming many people. It's undeniable that policing that uses an intimidation-first approach is not acceptable anymore and has harmed police as much as it's harmed people. And it's undeniable that women have been really exploited and harmed in ways that we're not going to take anymore. So you bring that all together along with some of the other movements about gender choices and equality and just an understanding that while many people are marginalized, those marginalized people have the same rights and have the same needs as everyone else. That's really exciting. This is a really roiled up time where you can't pretend everything's good. And while that's disquieting, that's where you start making change.